Effie, and this is What Effie Reads. So it's about 5 minutes to midnight, which means Raedathon starts very, very soon. I don't have any exact plans for what I'm going to read, but I am currently reading Long Way Down by Jadeyraereads. I'm about 90 pages in, so I think I'll probably start off by finishing this and then I might pop an audiobook on, possibly Lost in the Netherwoods, and do a bit of admin, and then I guess we'll see where the day takes us. My plan is to stay awake for the full 24 hours. However, I haven't had a nap, so at this point I've already been up for 12-ish hours. So if I make it to the next midnight, that'll be a full 36 hours. I guess we'll wait and see. Okay, that's 1 a.m. now. So we're 1 hour into the Raedathon, another 23 to go. And I've almost finished Long Way Down. I've got that much left of the book. And this sticky tab is where I was when we started Raedathon. I'm still thinking I might listen to an audiobook after that, just to get a couple of things done. And then, not sure. It's 2 a.m. now, and I'm starting to feel a bit tired, which honestly is not like me, so I'm kind of annoyed. In the last hour, I finished what was remaining of Long Way Down, and I realised that I couldn't listen to an audiobook because I was backing up my phone. So I started This Golden Flame by Emily Victoria, and I am 26 pages into it. Three hours in, and I'm still feeling pretty weary. I've reached page 52 of This Golden Flame. It's going really well. I'm finding it a really fast-paced, intriguing story, which is probably a good thing since I am feeling a little bit tired. I'm hoping that my phone will finish backing up soon so I can listen to an audiobook for a bit. I think reading in a different format will definitely help me. But if not, hopefully I'll make some good progress in This Golden Flame between now and my next check-in. So this was from the Instagram live sprints that Jade and Gavin did. At this point, Gavin is describing some of Den of Vipers to Jade, and you can see her losing it with the ridiculousness that is Den of Vipers. I'm feeling a bit more awake now. Jade and Gavin are currently running reading sprints on Instagram, which is helping me feel a little bit more awake, and with it, I've managed to get to page 66 of This Golden Flame. It's still really interesting and it's moving at a good pace. I'm enjoying it and I'm hoping that I can actually finish it today. It wasn't my plan to finish it, but I figure if I like it, I might as well stick it out. This was just a discussion about the Alex Rider series that descended into thirst, just pure thirst. But it was refreshing. It's what I needed at 4 in the morning. So thank you for that, Gavin. Okay, so in that past hour, I continued reading This Golden Flame and got to page 83. And I also listened to a little bit of Lost in the Neverwoods. I'm really enjoying This Golden Flame. The way that the chapters are alternating between Karis, the human girl, and Alex, the automaton boy, I'm getting a really good feel for the story and their different points of view. But because they, so far at least, are together, I don't feel like I'm losing any of the story or being pulled out of the action. And I'm kind of getting AI vibes. I feel like that film came out ages ago, but there was the cute little boy played by Haley Joel Osment, and like he felt like he was real even though he was a robot. I could be misremembering, but that's the kind of vibes that I'm getting from Alex in this book. I'm not far enough into Lost in the Neverwoods to really have a feel for it, but it's quite good so far. Well, it's now 6 a.m, so we're officially a quarter of the way through Raedathon. This past hour's gone really quickly. I just popped on Lost in the Neverwoods and was going through some old files, making some space on my laptop, and it was 6 o'clock before I knew it. I'm not sure if this audiobook's the right format. Like, I think the story's interesting, but I'm not sure that I gel with the narrator. Although there was a moment that made me smile. So there's a fan theory that Rhysand from A Court of Thorns and Roses, that his surname is Darling, and that's why he consistently says Feyre Darling. And obviously with Lost in the Neverwoods being a Peter Pan retelling, reimagining, the main character's surname is Darling. And there was a moment where one of the characters said Mary Darling, and it just, I was like, I don't know. My tired brain can't explain, but it amused me. Wanted you so bad, didn't hold back. It's 7 a.m. I would sing Jade's song, but frankly no one wants to hear me attempt to sing. That last hour was a little weird. I listened to a little bit of an audiobook, I started a new ebook, and I went back to This Golden Flame. I think for the moment, especially because the sleepiness has come back, I should probably stick it out with This Golden Flame. Don't wanna waste time with you. Wanted you so bad, didn't hold back, and now I can't forget. So I've made it to page 116 of This Golden Flame. At the moment I'm struggling with the desire to have a nap, but also I'm really enjoying the book and want to just continue. I think I'm going to try and push through until about 10ish and then maybe have a couple of hours nap before the live sprints on YouTube later. But I don't know, because that's still a good couple of hours. Tell me all the little things you never said. And it's clear at this point, I think I'm going to have a nap. I really wanted to push through for a bit longer, but I can feel myself not making any progress in my reading. So I'm going to get to the end of my chapter and then I'm going to go for a nap and hopefully wake up in time for the live sprints at midday. So that'll be about 3 hours if I sleep through it. It's a couple of minutes to midday now and I'm feeling a lot more refreshed and raring to go for the next 12 hours. So hopefully I can get some really solid reading done. Now I know that you know limits of you. It sort of feels like we lost what we knew, and I don't wanna last in these moments with you like I'm just a past life. I've managed to get to page 177 of this Golden Flame, which means that I've gotten to the point that I wanted to be in this book. I think I probably am going to continue reading it throughout the rest of the day. But I also want to pop on an audiobook to try and get a few bits of housework done because it needs to get done. I have realised that I forgot to make any goals for this Readathon, so I'm going to have a think and decide what I want to achieve, because I think that's part of why I'm struggling this time around, because I don't know what I want to get out of this Readathon. During that last sprint, I managed to get to page 205, which means that I'm over halfway through this Golden Flame. I feel like I'm making quite good progress. I'm averaging about 30 pages an hour, which is fairly standard for me, I'd say. And at this rate, I'm guessing it'll take me about 4 more hours to finish this book. I've come up with my goals for this readathon, and it's pretty simple. I'd like to finish 3 books. I've already finished Long Way Down. If it's going to take me 4 hours to finish this Golden Flame, that should be pretty doable, as it's now 2. And I've got quite a few graphic novels, middle grade, children's books, very quick reads in the library. So I'm thinking I'll pick one of those up next. I've now made it to page 229 of this Golden Flame, and I'm still really enjoying it. I think this was a really good pick for this readathon because it's gripping, it's sweet, and I'm really hoping it doesn't get too heavy. It's got an asexual protagonist. There's other rep throughout the book. There's found family. It's a brilliant mix between fantasy and sci-fi because it's magic, but it's also automatons, so kind of robots. So it's pretty cool. And I kind of just want to sit down and just read it. I've only got about 150 pages left. made it to 4 p.m, which means that I'm 2/3 of the way through Raedathon, and I am currently at page 258, so still a little over 100 pages to go, but the story's progressing really well and it's really keeping my interest. It's gotten a little bit emotional now. Obviously I won't say why, because it is over halfway through the book and spoilers. I'm still really enjoying it. I'd be surprised if I get to the end of the book and this isn't at least a 4-star level book. Firstly, I'm sorry if the lighting's not the best. It's that awkward time where the sun's starting to go down, but it's probably still a bit too early to turn on the lights. I am officially less than 100 pages away from the end of this Golden Flame. I am finding it dragging just a tiny bit, but I think that's because I thought that I'd already gotten into the 3rd act, the final showdown, but it was a bit of a misdirect. It was like the prelude to the 3rd act, but we're now very much into that. And there's been a little bit of foreshadowing of something that might happen, and I'm hoping it doesn't, but also it wouldn't be unsatisfying if it did, and it feels like it would be well done. I do want to note that this book reads more like younger YA or possibly middle grade, which I don't mind, but just for reference. I didn't get as much reading done as I would have liked in that last hour, largely because the break talking portion of the sprints went on until almost past. But it's fine, it's really enjoyable, and frankly it's quite exhausting to read non-stop for hours on end. I'm at page 305 now, and it's just keeps going up and up and up. Overall, this book's had a lot of kind of up and down and up and down, and it's been really well paced with these highs and lows, apart from that one part where I thought I was in the 3rd act. But it's still surprising me, which I really like, and I have no idea how the last 80 pages are going. I'm really sorry if there's noise outside. My neighbours, I hope they're my neighbours, because obviously you shouldn't be out and about if you're not living here. Basically having a party outside my front window. So there's screaming children, there's music. Anyway, there's a lot of twists still happening, so I don't know where this book's going to end and I really like that it's just keeping me guessing. It's a complete surprise, and I think once this live ends, this was the last reading sprint just now, once this ends I'm probably just going to read non-stop until I get to the end of this book. With 80 pages left, I'm going to say that I've got maybe 2 hours if I really push through. But I guess we'll see when I next check in. Just before 8 p.m, I finished this Golden Flame. I'm not completely sure what my rating's going to be, but I do know that I really, really enjoyed it, and it had a really satisfying ending. So I'm very glad that I picked it up. And it's the kind of book that if I'd only read one book today, and it was this book, I would be happy. But since I've got just under 4 hours left, I'm hoping to squeeze at least one more full book in, although I may continue on with the current read instead. Just for right now, I'm going to pop the Sadie audiobook on, and I'm going to grab a bite to eat and update my reading journal. And then I've got 5 options if I do want to start a new short book. I've listened to Sadie for a little over an hour, and I'm just feeling that I'm flagging. I think I've probably reached my limit on how long I can continuously read for. I am going to try and push through with some short books just to get me to midnight, but I may have to finish the Readathon a little bit early. I think especially because I read pretty solidly for about 2 hours before the Readathon started, so I'm nearing the 24-hour mark at this point anyway. Book of the day, which means that I've met the goals that I set myself. As I said earlier, I don't think I would have been mad if all I'd read today was this Golden Flame. But it's nice to achieve what I set out to achieve. So the third book was Grief is the Thing with the Feathers by Max Porter. Honestly, I'm not sure what to make of it. It was a bit chaotic, a bit strange, but then that's kind of what grief is. It didn't ever fully bring me to tears, but there were some moments that I thought I was going to start crying. I think I'm now going to crawl into bed. It's not midnight yet. It's just gone 25 to 11. I will probably do some reading in bed, but I'll wait until tomorrow to close out this vlog. I had intended on doing a final update just after midnight, but I just don't think it's practical with how I'm feeling at the moment. Okay, so it's the morning after Raedathon. I have had a good sleep. I've not been up for long, less than an hour, hence the pyjamas. And I just want to reflect on how yesterday went. First thing is, I completely forgot to mention at the time, but this Golden Flame had what felt like really good rep for visual impairment. Now, obviously, I can't speak personally for it, but it felt a lot more nuanced. It wasn't just a case of this character's blind, it was a case of talking about how their blindness affects them real terms, and also presenting them as a fully formed person who is capable of achieving as much as anyone else with adaptations, because it wasn't a flaw, it was just something about them. So that felt refreshing. Now into the stats. So over the course of yesterday, I managed to read a bonkers amount of 1,086 pages, which frankly blows my mind. Even during Readathon, where for the first 24 hours I didn't get any sleep, I think I read about 750 pages, maybe 800 on that first day. Whereas yesterday I had a nap roughly between about 10:30 and 12. I read 12 pages in that 3-hour period, and that was before I went to sleep, I believe. So I read for 21 of the 24 hours, and I read more than during the 24-hour period, the first 24-hour period of Readathon. But as much as I had a lot of fun, and it was really amazing to see how many pages I could actually read during a 24-hour period, I don't think I want to push myself that way again. The fact that this was only my second intensive readathon, my first being Readathon, where there was live sprints throughout, so you were essentially forced to take breaks. Obviously, you could have muted the hosts and continued reading, but you weren't reading intensively for the whole thing. Whereas there were some sprints, like Jade did an amazing job. She did sprints at 3 on Instagram, and again from midday till around 7ish on YouTube. But the majority of the day, there weren't those sprints, which is fine. That's how a readathon normally goes. But it meant that the only breaks I was taking were the couple of hours where I was filming. So as you saw yesterday, I got very, very exhausted by the end. I did actually read up until midnight, but what I did was I crawled into bed and I read some pages on a Kindle, and that's all I did for the last hour. And then not long after that, I fell soundly asleep. So I just want to say, thank you again for Jade over at Jadeyraereads for running this readathon. It was an amazing experience, even if I did exhaust myself completely. And that's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, which was my first attempt at vlogging, please feel free to give me a like down below, comment if you participated, how you got on, and until next time, bye!